Greetings, everybody. Today is July 22nd, 2009, and that is sweet. On the forums, someone proudly proclaimed that it is the approximation of pi day, because the approximation of pi is 22/7. I love how I can write in the air and you automatically understand what I mean. So this video will hopefully be kind of short, but it probably won't end up being, and hopefully I won't ramble a lot. So I have two things I'd like to talk about. The first thing is hybrid cubes. I've created a cube after a whole bunch of experiments that I think will work really well. And that is this one, which is a Cube for You brand DIY core and DIY Type A cubies. Now, if you want to know how the tension is set on this core, all you have to do is click on this video right here, and you will be taken to the tutorial where I show how to set tensions on a Cube for You DIY and any DIY. And those are the exact tensions put on this one because this is the one made in that video. Then you just slap some DIY Type A cubies on there, and it's amazing. Cool thing about this one is it's made out of common cubes. Not a lot of people have a Type B. A lot of people have a Type A, and quite a few people have a Cube for You DIY. I'd say quite a few people, but I really have no idea. So, easy to make. You probably already have the cubes necessary. Try it out. Even if you're not going to go with it permanently, even if you already have a good one, just try it out. It's fun, and it works really well. Now there's one other thing I'd like to talk about, and hopefully I won't ramble through this section like I did on the first 5 takes. The first 5 takes ended up being like 20 minutes long each, which is terrible. And so now I'm wasting time telling you this. So, a lot of you guys probably want to make the transition from beginner's method, which is the method PogoBat teaches. Beginner's method, maybe keyhole, and other layer-by-layer methods like that. There are lots of methods, and if you want to figure out what methods there are, you want a brief overview of a bunch of methods, click on this link right here to go to Throst's Tip of the Week that he uploaded earlier today. On different methods, he goes over Petrus and Roux and Fridrich, ZBF2L, and stuff like that. So if you want to make that step up, I would suggest going to a new method. Well, of course you have to go to a new method if you want to get faster, but Petrus and Roux are very, very intuitive methods, so you don't necessarily need to learn a bunch of algorithms, but then again, you need lots and lots of practice to make those go fast. With Fridrich, you don't. You just need a bunch of algorithms. And so now I would like to go into the order that you learn Fridrich and how you should go about tackling the Fridrich method. Fridrich method has a whole bunch of algorithms. I could hazard a guess and say about 120 some odd. Around that. And 120 algorithms isn't chump change. Even if you learn one a day, that's 1/3 of a year. That's a lot of time. Almost exactly 1/3 of a year. 5 days, whatever. So, you're going to need a few things if you're going to learn Fridrich. 1, patience and determination, motivation, and other good words of that sort, of the cheesy nature. So that's the cheesy aspect of it. The motivation, determination, blah. Now, the main thing is where to get good algorithms and how to learn those good algorithms and the order to learn those good algorithms in. Now, I'm only going to give you a few sources where you can find good algorithms. The general idea with good versus bad algorithms is not whether they use a certain number of moves or less or blah blah. Of course, there is a limit on that, but it's really what you prefer and what you can perform fastest. So, I might like an algorithm that's 8 moves and uses R and U only, and the Westonian might like an algorithm that only uses 6 moves but also uses F and B as well as R and U. That kind of thing. So, a few websites that I would recommend checking out is Bad Mephisto's website, link over there, and Cutex, Nakajima's website, that has a whole bunch of algorithms, and there are a whole bunch of sites. There's a bajillion of them. Not literally a bajillion, but you know what I mean. So go check those out, and you can get good algorithms from there, for all the Fridrich method. The second one is how do you go about memorizing them. There are a few main methods of memorizing, even though there really isn't any method to memorizing. What I use is a mix of brute force and looking at triggers. Bad Mephisto's website analyzes triggers deeply. It's trigger-oriented. You do this trigger, you do that trigger with a U2, and then trigger C, and then you've done the algorithm. Or you do trigger A, but instead of a U, you do a U prime kind of thing. Or there's just the plain brute force method, which is perform it 1,000,000 times, I got it. The method I use is kind of a mix of both of those. I look at the triggers to help start performing it, and then I just perform it. I only need to perform it 10 to 20 times before I can get the basic idea down, and then it's just practicing to get it faster. You also, of course, need to look at the actual case that you're fixing it for. So if you find an OLL, you need to know, well, this algorithm corresponds with this case. If you don't know that, your algorithm's useless. And finally, the thing I want to go into most is the third thing, which is the order in which you learn the algorithms. Me and the Westonian have devised some kind of list that... I don't know how else to say this. We have devised a list which we believe to be the most effective order of learning Fridrich. So the first thing you want to do is intuitive F2L, which is inserting pieces, inserting corner and edge pairs together without the use of algorithms. So in this case, you're pairing up this corner with this edge. Blue is the bottom color in this case, and so blue on top, move it away, pair the two pieces up like that, bring it out, and then insert it. There's intuitive F2L, no algorithms whatsoever. Then once you've done that, you move on to do 2-look OLL and 2-look PLL. Each one of those, 2-look PLL has 5 algorithms or so, and 2-look OLL has 9 or 10. And then you do use one from your beginner's method. Now, once you've gotten all of those down, you should be averaging around 25 to 30 seconds or so, and you have got the full essence of Fridrich, meaning you have the F2L, you have the OLL, and you got the PLL. So after you've learned 2-look OLL and PLL, you move on to learn 1-look PLL, because that will be the next logical step. And then after 1-look PLL, you move on to the algorithms on F2L. And I will show you now the difference between algorithm and intuitive F2L. So here I have the same case on 2 cubes for F2L, where the corner is in place and the edge is flipped. Now, here's what you would do for intuitive. Take the pair out, split the pair up, match them together, and insert it. That takes quite a few moves. With the algorithm F2L, all you need to know is one algorithm. You recognize the case, and then you can solve it. Simple as pie. And so that's the difference between intuitive and algorithm. You may think there's not a big difference. I don't know algorithm F2L yet, and I average around 25 seconds. So once you learn algorithm F2L, you move on to the last step of learning full Fridrich with it, which is 1-look OLL. It will take time off of your solve, meaning you'll get faster, but you don't get as much out of it for all the algorithms you learn. So that is the basic general method that me and Weston would suggest learning the Fridrich method. Me and Weston would suggest learning the Fridrich method in. Sweet. Now there's one last thing I'd like to show to you guys. First I gotta finish solving this cube. Sweet. So, last thing. It's gonna be a challenge to everybody. Now, everyone knows the infamous RUR prime, U prime. It's the sexy move. So, if you perform that sexy move 6 times, it solves the cube again. So you can either do that, or a variation of that, which means you use 1 R, 1 U, 1 R prime, and 1 U prime, and you would use that 6 times, and you solve the cube. So now, what I'm going to challenge you all to is a 96 move thing, which means you resolve the cube using that same algorithm 6 times, 4 times total. So, there's 1. Get it? So, I can get around, I don't know, less than 10 seconds by a little bit. So, make a video, post it as a video response to this one, and the person who does it fastest will get a shout out in the next video. Not really that great of a prize, but hey, whatever. So, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. No +2? and I got 9.94 seconds. Not the greatest, but hey. So, post your challenge response to this. It'll be sweet.